Hi everyone, Namaste. My name is Amita Deshpande and I am the founder of reCharkha, the EcoSocial tribe. And what we do at reCharkha is very interesting. We upcycle all of this plastic waste. So your plastic bags, wrappers of different types, the wrappers that we use at home, your favorite food packets. Also, another important thing is these gift wrappers, which are called paper, but it is plastic. Different kinds of biscuit and chips packets, which are also called MLP because they have a layer of silver aluminium from inside and outside is polyester or plastic. So the entire products, like entire packaging, which is ideally not to be used, but is being used. So this is all your non-biodegradable plastic waste, and it is very very difficult to recycle. So we upcycle it, and in my organization, which is reCharkha, we upcycle it using a very interesting technique, which is that of weaving on a hand loom. So we use a traditional charkha and a hand loom to weave all of this plastic waste together. The entire process is manual because we are trying to create employment for our tribal women and youth. We are based in two areas. One of our location is based in a tribal village in Dadra Nagar Haveli, which is a union territory on the border of Gujarat and Maharashtra. And the other location is Pune, where we work. So the process goes such that we collect all of this plastic waste, we wash and sanitize it, sort them into different colors. These are all original colors of the waste. We don't dye them, okay? Then we manually cut them just using a pair of scissors. Then we use a traditional charkha and a hand loom to weave it. The entire process is manual, like I said, because we're trying to create employment. And also, we are trying to revive the charkha to solve today's problems. And that currently is of environment conservation and livelihood generation. And hence, we are called recharkha because we are reviving the charkha. Finally, after the fabric is created, we bring all of that fabric from our tribal village to the Pune workshop, where the final designing, stitching, and that is tailoring of the products, the final products that you see behind me, are created here in the Pune unit. And then they are marketed, all the administration, marketing, business development, all of that happens from our Pune office, which is based in Karve Nagar in Pune. So, this entire process started, or rather, I started this about 6, 7 years ago in 2015. And the whole concept that came into my mind was through my research and development that happened a couple of years prior to that. So, since 2013, I would say I started researching on what I want to do with my life or with the career options that I had in front of me. Because before that, I was working in the IT sector for a few years. I finished my IT and engineering from Pune, and I was working in the IT sector for a few years. I took up a master's degree program in the US. So I was studying in the US. I worked there for a few years. Though I was interested in sustainable development, so I took up a few subjects, and my final master's was in sustainable development. But I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do until I came back to India and found out through an extensive travel and research that I did that two problems needed immediate attention. One was waste management, because increasingly plastic waste was being used in all parts of the country. Not just urban areas, but rural areas were starting to get commercialized or starting to have, more, wasteful life, which wasn't there before. So everywhere, wherever I traveled, wherever I went, I started seeing plastic garbage lying here and there. Even for all the treks that I went in remotest parts of the country, I started seeing a lot of plastic waste. And people don't know that it is not degradable. People don't know that it is a problem, and it could be potentially even a larger problem. So I picked up one of this aspect. The other aspect, which was also very important, which I thought was important to bring and start working on, was that of livelihoods, especially in rural areas. Why rural areas? Because in urban areas, there are opportunities available. There is a lot of jobs available. There is a market here, but in rural areas, only one form of livelihood is being consistently performed, which is agriculture. All the other forms of livelihoods have been declining from the rural areas, and as a result, only during monsoon, specifically because India has very different kind of climatic conditions, as all of you know. So only during the monsoons there's proper irrigation available throughout the country, and people are working in agriculture only during that time. For rest of the time, which is 5 to 6 months during the year, people do not have any form of sufficient livelihood options. So then they have to migrate, they have to travel to cities and nearby towns for in search of jobs. And because of that, the entire lifestyle of those people go for a toss. So considering these two aspects, how can livelihoods and environment conservation, that is waste management, be brought together? The other aspect that I also constantly used to think, and I still think, is that when somebody's livelihood is dependent on a particular thing, they take it seriously and they do more of it. Now, for example, if my livelihood was dependent on creating more plastic or manufacturing more plastic, I would want to do that more. But if my livelihood was dependent on cleaning up, I would clean more, right? So that is what this entire aspect of eco-social livelihoods and environment conservation came into being. And I decided that I want to start an eco-social enterprise, not just a social enterprise, but eco-social enterprise. And that's how the concept was born of reCharkha 7 years ago. And I started working on it, trying to find out where I want to do it, what I want to do exactly in this sector. And through some R&D again, I this whole concept of that craft could be made out of plastic waste, and weaving is one such craft which is so integrally a part of India, that we can use handloom weaving to upcycle plastic waste. That came into the forefront. Some craftsmen, some artisans were doing it, but they were doing it more like a craft. It wasn't being done for livelihoods or on a larger scale for upcycling or for conservation of the environment. So I decided that I'll take up this particular craft and make it bigger. Now, where do I want to do it? Again, like I said, in a rural area. But the closest rural area that I knew was near my hometown. I come from Dadra Nagar Haveli. So I was born and brought up, or not born, but I was brought up in Silvassa. Uh, so we had a little place close to the town of Silvassa, a tribal village, 100% tribal village in a remote forest area. So we picked up that village. Some of the people whom we knew already, they were interested in joining and working with us. So we took hold of them and trained them on this whole idea of upcycling plastic waste. We taught them handloom weaving because it wasn't something traditionally a part of their livelihoods, but they were very interested in doing that, and especially because these were youngsters. They wanted to learn something new. They were in search of new livelihoods. Most of them had been dropped out of school and wanted to do something good with their lives. So as a result, we taught them that. And over the period of time, over the past 5.5, 6 years, in that village, we've been able to create 16 jobs, full-time jobs, and about 5 to 6 part-time job opportunities for people there. And so through that, the fabric is created. And in our Pune office, we have employed about 16, 17 more people. So together, we are a company of about 32 people. We are a for-profit company. reCharkha is a for-profit company, but it's an eco-social enterprise. We also have a non-profit arm under which we do waste collection activities. We do awareness generation activities like the talk that I'm doing right now here at on this platform. We also are aiming to do more livelihood development activities, more research and development. We'll go into creating more products from the waste that we are working on right now. So this is an overall, background of what we do at reCharkha, what I do, how did I get into all of this.
या सगळ्याचं तुम्ही आर्थिक गणित कसं बसवलंय? या सगळ्या
Uh,
प्रोजेक्टचं आर्थिक गणित, कारण जिथपर्यंत त्याचं आर्थिक गणित बसत नाही ना, अनेक वेळेला भावनेतनं किंवा विचारातनं प्रोजेक्ट चालू होतात, पण ते
बरोबर आहे.
सस्टेनेबल नसतात कारण त्यातलं
Correct.
आर्थिक गणित नीट नसतं.
बरोबर आहे.
मग हे तुम्ही कसं काय काय विचार केलाय त्या
बरोबर.
बाबतीत, कसं केलंय?
बरोबर. व्हेरी ट्रू. सो जेव्हा हा प्रोजेक्ट चालू करायचा होता तेव्हा मुद्दाम ही कंपनी म्हणून रजिस्टर केली आम्ही. एनजीओ म्हणून रजिस्टर नाही केली कारण एनजीओ मध्ये कुठेतरी आपली डिपेंडन्सी फंड्स वरती राहते. Not that it's wrong. It can totally be fine, and some, very, very good projects have started as NGOs. But we started it at that point as a company because we wanted to make it market driven. And what we did was we decided that we'll create products which people use on a day to day basis. So, for example, we make these handbags. So this is something anybody can use for their, regular purposes. And this is a laundry basket. So here, everybody can use it for their home. Then we have this lunch bag, which everybody can use when they're going to the office. We have laptop bags, backpacks, cushion covers. This is a cushion cover that I have. So all these products, or wallet. So there's a wallet here. So all these products are we did a lot of R&D to identify which products we want to make so that they are sellable in the market. Okay, so that's why we came up with these projects. Also, all these products are a little higher value products because our process is very manual. खूप मेहनतीचं काम आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये खूप मॅन्युअल एफर्ट यूज केला जातो. असं नाही की खूप सारं प्लास्टिक आपण अपसायकल करायला लागलो आणि मग कॉस्ट कमी होतील. जसं मास मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग मध्ये होतं तसं इथे नाही होत कारण की हे मास मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग नाहीये. प्रत्येक गोष्ट हातानीच करायला लागते. त्यामुळे वेळ तितकाच लागणार जरी जास्त प्रोडक्ट्स आहेत किंवा कमी प्रोडक्ट्स आहेत. थोडीफार ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव्ह कॉस्ट आपल्याला कमी करता येते. त्यामुळे हा प्रोडक्ट बनवतानाच तो थोडासा एक्सपेन्सिव्ह असतो, पण त्याच्या मागची एफर्ट महत्वाची आहेत. आणि हा प्रोडक्ट मग आपण जेव्हा त्याला मार्केटमध्ये प्लेस करायचं आहे आम्हाला होतं, तेव्हा मग आम्ही तो प्रोडक्ट अशा प्रकारे प्लेस करतोय की हा थोडासा हायर एंड प्रोडक्ट आहे, अग्रीड, पण तो कॉमन माणसाला पण हल्ली वापरता येऊ शकतो. म्हणजे आता जेव्हा आपण मार्केटमध्ये लॅपटॉप बॅग घ्यायला जातो तेव्हा ती लॅपटॉप बॅग कुठेही 1,000 ते 2,000 रुपये और बियॉन्ड अशीच असते. तर आमची पण लॅपटॉप बॅग त्याच ह्याच्यामध्ये आहे. 1,500-1,600च्या रेंजमध्येच आमची लॅपटॉप बॅग प्लेस होते. सो तशा प्रकारे थोडा मार्केट रिसर्च केला. कोण आपले पोटेन्शियल कस्टमर्स आहेत त्याच्याबद्दल रिसर्च केला. हे पोटेन्शियल कस्टमर्स कुठे आपल्याला सापडू शकतील. सो आम्ही हँडीक्राफ्ट एक्झिबिशन्स, मग आपले थोडे कॉन्शियस आणि एन्व्हायरमेंटल एक्झिबिशन्स असतात तिथेही लोक जास्त सापडू शकतील कारण की त्यांना असा प्रोडक्ट हवा आहे. म्हणजे जेव्हा मी पण माझी ही जर्नी सुरू केली, आय वॉन्टेड टू बिकम एन्व्हायरमेंटली फ्रेंडली मायसेल्फ. So I started finding solutions or alternatives to what I was using in my life. So if I wanted to buy a bag, I always wanted to buy a bag which is either made of a organic material or a recycled material. I wouldn't go and buy a bag of polyester. So I knew that what I wanted. Hence, I wanted to create a product which was an alternative to what people uh, would find in a mall or in a shopping complex or in an exhibition or in an online store. So that is the solution we thought of providing, and hence we made it into a business, into a social business, an eco-social business, and we made it profitable. So though we do not earn as much as profit as a machine made product would earn, because we are pricing it at a machine made products level, but we are our effort and our costs are very high, so our profit margin reduces. But that is the whole purpose of our work, that we are okay with little less profits. We are actually working on a triple bottom line concept in which only monetary profit or only economic profit is not our motive. Our motive is also to earn an environmental profit and also to earn a social profit. So that's where an eco-social business or a social business should come from, that we are trying to earn a triple bottom line. But it should be economically sustainable as well, like you rightly said. So त्याच मुळे आम्ही असा प्रोडक्ट तयार केला आणि आम्ही असे प्रोडक्ट्स अजून तयार करतोय. आणि मॅन्युअल लेबर जरी असेल तरी ते आम्ही एफिशियंटली रन करायचा प्रयत्न करतो ॲज अ कंपनी. म्हणजे मग त्याच्यातनं दोन्ही गोष्टी साध्य होतात. रेव्हेन्यू पण जनरेट होतो, पण प्रॉफिट पण जनरेट होतो.
What response do you get from common people?
So there are two, three kinds of people. Okay, some people are totally for appreciate the product, they appreciate the process behind it, they appreciate the effort behind it, and they readily buy it because it is a product in which you are getting a value for what you're buying. It is not just a product you're going and buying from the market, which is made in sweat workshop. It is made in our product is made in a place where people are happy, they are making it for some purpose, they are making working for some cause. So that's why these people understand what we do. And there are people who do not understand the effort behind it, and they argue with us as to it's made of waste and why are you pricing it so high. So then for these people we have to show them how have we made it, we have to educate them. So in all our sales platforms, we purposely show the video of how the product is being made, how much time it takes to make. So for example, a bag like this that I was showing earlier takes about 1.5 day to make a bag like this. So then how much would it should it be priced? These are the kind of questions we help people understand. So through our efforts of marketing also, we are trying to educate people on understanding their own choices. So if I am a conscious consumer and if I want to go and buy something from the market, I shouldn't just look at the price factor, I should look at the why, the how, the who, and the what behind every question, every product. So that is what we are trying to do, and that is what we try to educate the second type of customer with, because the first type of customer is already convinced and they understand it. And then there is a third class of customers which we are still not being able to tap because they are more economically, um, you know, I would say not, they will not buy the product, or they will not be interested in buying it because it is a little expensive. Now, for this section of the consumers, we tell them that okay, you don't buy, totally fine. You can buy a product which is of a lower economic um price, but ensure that it is a natural product. So I always tell people that if you're going to make a choice, so if you're going shopping, for example, if you want to buy a backpack, choose a backpack which is made of a material which is non-invasive, or it is cotton, or it's jute. Okay, so though the price is low, the price will be lower, but the product in itself or the material in itself will be sustainable. So you don't have to buy a high priced product just because you want to be sustainable. You can be sustainable by actually refusing, reducing, reusing what you already have, or repairing what you already have. So simple practices, not just of shopping but in our day to day behavior, in our day to day living, if people follow, we will all be able to live a sustainable lifestyle, like carrying your own bag when going shopping, gifting with wraps made of newspaper, for example, and not of plastic wrappers, going a waste free lifestyle altogether, packaging free lifestyle altogether, carrying your own dabbas and containers when buying things from outside, or going to a hotel with your own container and then getting things home delivered instead of getting it delivered in plastic. So those kind of things we try to educate everybody with. So the one, two, three, all the three categories of our customers are educated with this. So I wouldn't say that somebody is not our customer or somebody is not our follower. I say that everybody is our follower, everybody is our customer, because we have different value that we bring to different people's lives. Some we give them a product which they can use, some we give them a fashion accessory that they want to buy, and to some we bring them some information, some awareness too. So that's how we work at reCharkha.
From where did you get all this plastic? Do you associate it with rag pickers or?
To a certain extent, yeah. So initially, when we started working in this sector, we had to work with waste pickers to educate them as to what kind of waste we need to upcycle. How can they keep it as? But the biggest challenge was that segregation of waste is very, very difficult for the waste pickers, because people themselves do not segregate at source. So somewhere we had to bring into the aspect of educating people in segregation in the first place. So though we do collect a lot of plastic waste from waste pickers, the waste that comes from waste pickers is usually very unclean and contaminated. So that's why we can't take a lot of waste from them. So then what has started happening is, people who are our followers, who are watching our videos on social media, or who know about us, they started collecting plastic at home and keeping it clean and sending it directly to us by courier, or coming and dropping it at our Pune office. So that has now become a larger part of the waste collection process than it coming directly from waste pickers. But we are still working with waste pickers to get people who work with the waste pickers to give them segregated waste. So that work we do through our NGO activities. Also, a lot of industries who have some packaging waste give us their waste so that we can use it for our upcycling purposes. So, to support businesses or organizations like ours, or causes like ours, the most important thing we need, for example, at reCharkha, one is awareness amongst the public, that it's very, very important to understand the 5 R's of waste management. One is refuse, that you don't use plastic in the first place. That is our message. That's our biggest, most important message. Second is reduce your own consumption. Third is reuse whatever you already have. Just imagine, a plastic bag is made to last for 1,000 years, but we are using it only for a few minutes and throwing it away as a garbage bag or as a packaging material. So why so? If it's made to last for 1,000 years, then use it for 1,000 years. Maybe it will not last for 1,000 years, but you can use it for its maximum usable life. Fourth is finally repairing, and then fifth is recycling. So this is the message I always wish to give to all the viewers. The second important message is change your buying patterns. So if you are a shopper, if you want to go shopping, try to buy consciously, try to choose things made of conscious materials. And three, most importantly, is support causes like ours. You can either volunteer with us, you can work with us, you can apply for jobs with us. Thirdly, you can buy these products. So these are the things I would love people to understand, people to appreciate and support organizations like ours.
Thank you, ma'am, for making us aware about your reCharkha. I want to ask one thing. Why Charkha?
Charkhal, because when we started to work on this concept, we wanted to marry the environmental and social causes together. Social cause, which was important, was livelihoods, and maximum livelihoods is generated or can be generated when the process is as manual as possible. And again, it shouldn't be tiring. So it shouldn't be a drudgery for the people. It should be something from which they themselves get satisfaction, that I am working on something. And what best can it be other than through a craft? Art and craft itself is such an important and integral part of India's traditions also. And the largest craft that India was always popular for was weaving. Charkha used to be a very, very integral part of the weaving communities, and every village had these weaving communities. It started dwindling slowly, slowly. So then when we decided that we want to bring back craft into people's lives, we want to bring livelihoods into people's lives, what best could be other than the charkha and the handloom? And luckily, we found that this plastic waste could be woven. As I said, there were artisans whom we found who were doing this, but they were doing it as a craft. So we just decided that this is what we will take up, and this is what we will grow with, and this is what we will make visible to the public, visible to the global public, not just India's public, but global public. And that's why Charkha, and that's why Charkha has also become a very important part of our own name. So we are branded as reCharkha because we are reviving the Charkha to solve today's problems of plastic waste.